The first one, the very first thing I would try with a limit when this value is there in the bottom is to use direct substitution. See if you can plug it in. If you plug it in and the bottom is 0, obviously it's undefined, so you cannot use direct substitution. So then there's some way that you can reduce this. So if you so this one could be factored. If I factor 2x squared minus x minus 3, in the denominator I get 2x minus 3 and x plus 1. And then the x plus 1's cancel, and I get 1 over 2x minus 3. And then you would plug in your -1. So if I plug in the -1, I get 1 over -2 minus 3, which is 1 over -5. Yep.
So the limit's not 0?
The limit is not 0. That would be wrong. Because of that whole thing I just did. All right, the next one, now we're talking about the limit as it approaches the infinity or negative infinity. So you're using your horizontal asymptote rules. X1 on the top is bigger than the one on the bottom, which means there's no horizontal asymptote. And if there's no horizontal asymptote, then the limit does not exist. Number 3, now it says to find the limit as x approaches 3, given 2 times g of x plus f of x squared. So I literally took the limit of g of x, which was -4, multiplied it times 2, I got -8. And then took the limit of 5 and squared it, I got -8 plus 25, which is 17. Number 4, you're looking at the exponents. So 2n to the first minus 3 or 4n to the first plus 1. They are the same. This is your leading coefficient test, which would be 2 over 4, which is 1/2. Number 5, we're doing the derivative. You don't have to do the long way, so we're doing the power rule. The 3 gets multiplied by the 2, so you get 6x, subtract the 1 from the exponent, so it's 6x squared. And then you have to move this x to the top first, so it becomes -5x to the -2. -2 multiplies times -5 gives you 10, subtract the 1, and I get the -3. It can't be left there. It's going to get moved back down to the bottom, so it goes to the bottom as +3.
Would we have to put that as the first?
No, and it's multiple choice. It'll only be one way or the other. Yeah.
Are these the type of questions we'll be seeing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not all of them, but yeah.
But like this is the basic.
Yeah. All right, this one was the one some of you made mistakes on, just like silly work, so be careful. You have to break it apart. So I break it apart with each term first. So I'd get the sum of n squared plus the sum of 3n minus the sum of 1. Then I bumped the 3 to the front. So it's the sum of n squared plus 3 sum of n minus the sum of 1. The n squared formula is n times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 all over 6. Plus, don't forget your 3. The n formula is n times n plus 1 over 2. And then the last one is a constant, so we do n times 1. Your n is 110. So I plugged in all the 110s. That's what this looks like. 110 times 110 plus 1 times 2 times 110 plus 1 all over 6. And then 3 times 110 times 110 plus 1 over 2 minus 110. And then you want to simplify it. Again, I will give you the 4-function calculator on Canvas. If you have a 4-function handheld and you want to use it, you can. I have some backups, but if you have it, you can. But it can only be 4-function at this point because your graphing calculators can do this in one step. And so you get 467,940.
Do you have what is the calculator?
Just like your 4-function, like this, but when you hold it up.
Okay.
Like when you go to your calculator on your iPhone, but you hold it. Oh, no, not anymore, because you can hit it scientific. It's just the standard one. So it has addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction. That's it. All right, number 7. This, a lot of you made the mistakes on, so watch, be careful, okay? When you're finding the area under the curve, this time it's an overestimate with the curve running through the left-hand sides of these rectangles. You want to account for everywhere the curve hits the corner. So I'm plugging in this y, this, or this x, this x, this x, this x, not the last one, because it went past the curve. So then I'm going from 1 to 4, well, no, my whole width, sorry, 1 to 5, which is a width of 4, and dividing it by 4. So each width is 1, which is also marked. Hopefully that one's not that bad. But then to find this y, you're going to do the y1 of 1. To find this y, the y1 of 2. To find this y, the y1 of 3. And to find this y, the y1 of 4. You should have the same amount of y's as you have rectangles. So there's 4 rectangles there. That's why I would know if I kept going, that means I did 5 y's. That's wrong, okay? So you're stopping where the curve hits the corner. So then this time you could plug it in. You could also use your graphing utility. 2 over 1 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. 2 over 3 is 2/3 or 0.67. And 2 over 4 is 1/2 or 0.5. I could multiply them each by 1 and then add them together, or I could add them all together, multiply by 1, which doesn't change it. And so you should get 4.167.
So we get a 4 function and our graphing calculator?
On this question, you'll have your graphing calculator. Yeah, not the 4 function really, because I won't have you in Canvas yet. So this question, you're going to start, you're literally getting 1 question on paper. You'll get your graphing utility, and then you'll put your graphing utility away, and you'll go into the Canvas quiz for the rest of it where you'll have the 4 function.
So most of the questions are included.
One question is like this.
Oh, just one.
Yeah,
Okay.
so technically there's 11 questions. This one with your graphing utility and the other 10 without.
Okay, and so when you don't do like the y1 of 5,
Yeah,
like, wouldn't you have to account for the 4th rectangle width, or like? Is
no, this time we're starting with it. So it's the left one, left one, left one, left one. That's still 4.
So if we started with the right.
So if it had been like, if it had been like this, but the curves went this way.
Oh, because.
Now we're plugging in this value, this value, this value, this value.
Under.
It literally has, yeah, so if it's under, it's the right hand touch, and if it's over, it's the left. It's where the corner of your rectangle hits your curve. If it's under it, we don't count it, and if it's over it, we don't count it.
Right, okay.
So where it hits,
Okay.
yeah. Questions on that one? Okay. Oh, good. Or no? Yeah. Yeah. So this last one, and a lot of you made a silly mistake on it, so you want to be really, really careful. I cannot plug in 0. If I tried direct substitution, it would give me something that's undefined from the beginning, which means I can't do it, which means I need to figure out a way to simplify this. The way we simplify with an expression is we multiply by the opposite. So I multiply by the opposite of my numerator, okay, which means 1 plus the square root of 1 minus x. Now, because we multiply by an opposite, I can do a squared minus b squared, where the a is the 1, and the b is the square root of 1 minus x. And I put a minus between them. So I get 1 minus 1 minus x, and this minus has to go to both. So I get 1 minus 1 plus x. And that's what a lot of you did not carry the negative to the x, so be careful. So in the numerator, the 1's cancel, and in the denominator, it's x times 1 plus the square root of 1 plus x. And then the x's cancel, and now I can plug in to 1 over 1 plus the square root of 1 plus x, make this 0. I get 1 plus the square root of 1, which is 1 plus 1, which is 1/2. All right, 8 said, obviously we're approximating the area under the curve, okay? I want to find where it hits the curve. So you've got this y here, this y here, this y here, and this y here. That's 4, which is, there's 4 rectangles, okay? So I'm going to find my whole width. I go from -1 to 1, which means the width is 2, and I divide it in fourths. So this would be, each one is a half, but it's gone negative, right? So like this is positive 0.5, but this is negative 0.5, and this is 0. So now I want to find the y1, good morning, at negative 0.5. All right, then y1 of 0, then y1 of 0.5, then y1 of 1. So I'm finding each of those. You have your calculator, so you can plug them in, okay? But you could also, then this time you could have done it without it. But it's going to be faster, so I would have done y1 equals 2 minus 2 minus x squared. And then I would do y1 of negative 0.5, which is 1.75, y1 of 0, which is 2, y1 of 0.5, which is again 1.75, and y1 of 1, which is 1. Then add them all together. I get 6.5, and then multiply by the width, which is 0.5, 3.25.
Wait, so we don't. Okay.
Yeah? Okay. All right, go to the next one. This one I would say was tricky because it said there's 4 rectangles, but you almost don't see the first one. The first one would be under here, okay? And it's an overestimate because the corner that's hitting is the right corners of these. So it's actually hitting here. So you're going from 1 to 3. That width is 2. Cut it into 4 parts. That means each one is a half, but this is 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. So you're doing y1 of 1.5, y1 of 2, y1 of 2.5, and y1 of 3. And then I would do my equation, 0.5 times x minus 1 to the third. And then I do y1 of 1.5, y1 of 2, y1 of 2.5, and y1 of 3. And then add those together. And then multiply by your width, which was 1/2. 3.12475, which got rounded to 3.125. Yeah.
Not this one, but the night before.
Okay, so this is your kick, like your power rule. So the 2 would get multiplied by the number in the front, that's a 1. And then you'd reduce it 1, so it'd be x to the first. And then this is a 1, gets multiplied by the 1 on the front, so it's negative 6, and then gets reduced 1. So x to the 0 goes away. And then this would technically be x to the 0. 0 would get multiplied by the 9. Any constant is going to go away. So it should just be 2x minus 6. You could do the long process, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would do that little power rule.
Constants. Like,
Constants always go away because it would be x to the 0 next to it. So the 0 is going to get multiplied and it's going to go away. All right, this is the PDF that I posted. There's, like obviously there's 4 examples from your graphing part. As long as you understand, just make sure you understand if there's a y there, then that's my answer. If there's a hole there, that is also my answer. The only time they don't exist is if there are 2 different ones or it's unbounded. So make sure you know how to find a limit from a graph. Make sure you know how to do the limit from the direct substitution, from simplifying and then doing direct substitution. And then same thing here, simplifying and doing your direct substitution.
We don't have to make a graph, right?
You do not have to make a graph, no. And you will not have a graphing utility on that part. That's why I kind of crossed out all those sets of instructions.
and there's 10 questions.
11 if you include the area one. Yeah,
Because that's on paper.
that's on paper and that's with your graphing utility.
Would you grade on the can?
No, because I'll go back in and adjust it based on your paper. Yeah. All right, then it comes find the derivative. I would use your power rule. Then it comes find the limit using your horizontal asymptote rules because these are infinity and negative infinity. All right, so 71, to bring this to the top. So it would be 4 times s plus 5 to the negative 1, right? That would move it from top to bottom. Then the power rule comes forward. So the negative 1 gets multiplied by the 4. That's negative 4 s plus 5 would then get raised to the negative 2. And then that goes back to the bottom.
Oh, okay, so but wait, would it be, although I thought the negative 4 also like that.
No,
And
Wait, are
it's
there-
only square rooted if it's a half.
other way around. Yes. It's only a half if it's square rooted. And you mean then you keep going. Yeah, so this one.
Yeah.
So this is,
That one too.
this would be 1 over x plus 4 to the 1/2. If you want to bring it to, if you want to bring it to the top, it becomes x plus 4 to the negative 1/2. The negative gets multiplied by the 1 on the front. So it's negative 1/2 x plus 4, subtract 1, or 2 over 2, and you get negative 3/2. So then the negative 1/2 gets multiplied by 1 over x plus 4 to the 3/2.
Why multiply?
Well, because they're different. They're two different terms. Then we're going to combine them. So it'd be negative 1 over 2. And then anything raised to the 3/2 is the square root of that cubed. So that's the simplified version of it.
When we find the derivative, are you gonna make us find points on the quiz?
No, you mean the slope at the point? No,
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so just find the derivative?
just find the derivative.
Okay.
Yep. Find the limit using your sequence, which is also your horizontal asymptote rules. Find the area under the curve. Yeah.